And this is something like PPDCI, which has made it really possible that people from the different countries, culture, and societies are gathered here on this platform, which is PPDCI, Personal Professional Development Center International. Well, I'm really feeling very proud today to share with you all that this is the second boot camp. And the first camp we began with in the month of June 2022. And this is going to be the second one. And inshallah ta'ala, this time also we all are going to have a lot of fun learning and joy. Well, I would do welcome all of you today. It's the first day of the second boot camp, and this is something like which is going to be really a great learning platform for all of us. Well, let me introduce few things and share with you, because it's going to be the first day of this boot camp, that it's 1st of May. So on daily basis, we all would be meeting at 8 p.m. as per the Pakistan times. And further, you can convert it as per your country's time. So this would be, well, ma'am Hina has also shared. Thank you, ma'am. She has shared a boot camp training session. So here you can see the details which are about the boot camp. And as I already have shared with you that this is going to be the first session today. And on a very first, as already have shared the timings, it would be 8 to 9 for a first session, where our today's first speaker is going to be our respected ma'am Erum Jafri. And then we have the second one, which is going to be there from 9 to 10 p.m. as per the Pakistan's time. And there would be Miss Ethel. So we welcome specifically both of you. They are there with us. And then in the similar manner on an everyday basis, we would be here from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. as per the Pakistan's time. Well, few other journal instructions which I would do like to share, for which you people keep asking during the session.
Bilal, allow me to add one point. 8 to 10 p.m. as per Pakistan Standard Time is the timing from Monday to Friday. And
Yes.
Saturday, Sunday will be live from 12 noon to 2 p.m.
Yes, it would be the timings for the Saturday and Sunday. And on Sunday, we will be having a keynote speaker who would be Miss Jani. And it would be great to have her again on this bootcamp as well. So, well, I was talking about few things which are very much important to note down, that you all will be rewarded with the certificates by the end. And like on 7th of May, inshallah ta'ala, we are going to have our last session. And after that, in between in some 7 to 10 days, you all would be receiving your certificates. And as far as some other details are concerned, like the slides, the content, so on everyday basis, later on, we would be sharing with you. So you guys no need to be worried about that. Inshallah ta'ala, everything would be shared with you. And see, your presence during the session is very much important. So you have to mark your attendance on everyday basis, and you have to fill the forms and other further sharing whatsoever is shared with you, so that you better can show your participation. And these were the few things for which you no need to be worried, so that you better can focus towards the learning, which is going to be great, inshallah ta'ala. Well, so many things I already have shared. And in this boot camp, you can see the daily we have two speakers. We will be having two speakers on daily basis from Monday to Thursday, from Monday to Friday, sorry. And on Saturday and Sunday, the timings, I repeat once again, it would be 12 to 1 p.m. as per Pakistan Standard Time. I'm repeating again, so that you better can convert all those attendees who are participating from the globe, from different of countries. So I think this is enough. And further, in case of any concern, query, you may share your concern through chat box. And see, in case if your fellows, your friends, if they remain unable to join through Zoom app, because after 100 participants, they all will be joining from the live Facebook, and the online recording would also be available later on in the
Exactly,
platform of
exactly.
PPDCA. So
Thank you
thank you
very
so
much.
much from my side.
Thank you very much, Bilal. It's always nice to listen from you, these mini details. We have to go for the micro detailing at times. Yes, the Facebook Live link is going to be shared in the WhatsApp group and social media platforms as well. Ladies and gentlemen, today the first speaker who is with us is a charismatic lady, a very renowned educationist from Pakistan, my mentor, teacher of the teachers. She owes a heart of gold, and I personally have witnessed seeing her transforming many of the lives over 25 years in the field of academia. She is a life coach, she is a teacher trainer, and she is skill development expert, NLP practitioner as well. We have with us Mrs. Erum Jafri with us, my mentor and teacher of the teachers, as I earlier said. So, ma'am, it's really an honor to have you with us. I will request you to please take it on from here. And the topic which ma'am is going to cover today, it's anti-bullying strategies and restorative justice.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Am I audible?
Walaikum salam. Yes, ma'am, you are very much audible.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me introduce myself very quickly once again. Mrs. Erum Jafri, and I have been working with the private school system in Hyderabad, Pakistan. And it's my proud privilege to be part of this forum today. When I was going through the introduction of PPDCI, I was quite proud of the kind of work that you people are doing. And then when I have seen participants enter from different parts of the globe, particularly the other side where the sun has just risen, it gives me a big high to know that the internet has given us an opportunity to connect with people all over the world at one time together for one reason, and that is as educators making a difference to the world. And congratulations to the team PPDCI for putting this thing together. And when I was also going through the list of all the topics which the bootcamp has to offer to all the educationists who are going to be part of this training camp, I decided to speak about this. Now, I was just contemplating whether this topic would be applicable for a boot camp to take off with, and why not? I would love to introduce. Okay. Do I have the? Let me give you a quick introduction and overview. By the way, people who are hearing me for the first time, and I know a lot of you are hearing me for the first time, I usually like to present with very minimum text on the screen because I would like to the speaker to be given attention more than the screen. And people inevitably start reading what is written on the screen and they disconnect from what the speaker is saying. But then I realized that at a forum like this where people can really not see me in person, it's best that I do put up some text, some content, so that people can make a connection to what I'm going to be talking about. It's a very common phenomenon because according to the World Health Organization, this is a major global health problem, which is bullying. And I would like to share that this is something which is very close to my heart because as a student myself at school, I have been through this kind of a trauma twice in a very major setup. And how do we come out of it and what impact does it have? I personally feel that all the educators who are connected through this forum right now and even elsewhere, people need to understand the importance of indicating children who are being victimized. And as we progress in this presentation, I will be talking about it more in detail. Although this is something which is really vast, you can spend hours and hours talking about it with a lot of people also sharing their input. But let's touch upon this topic. And tonight, what my particular objective is that everyone who is listening here and who will be seeing the slides coming up ahead will get a chance to contemplate about it, will get a chance to reflect on who are the possible victims in their surrounding, and also to think about who are the other elements of bullying and what you, the listener tonight, can get out of this and then start making a difference. So this is something which, when I said at the beginning that this is a global health problem and it impacts the psychological, the mental, social, emotional well-being of a child, you've got to understand this shocking fact that 1 out of 3 children are victimized in our surrounding. And how do we intervene? So the importance and the relevance of this topic as it is come as it is because of being so prevalent that we educators need to seriously look into this. So what are we going to achieve when this session comes to an end? We'll discuss what bullying is. We'll discuss the harm that results from this. What can be done about it? What should teens know, students know when someone in their surrounding is being bullied? And then, in fact, we will spend more time talking about restorative justice because this is an extension of how we as educators can handle bullying. And this is my favorite part of the whole presentation, by the way. So what are the 3 types of bullying? I'm touching upon the basics because I would like every one of us to be on the same page before we move on and go into the concrete examples. You must have observed this, the punching, the poking, strangling, hair pulling, beating, biting. And do you know that children almost from the age of 3 have started experiencing this? There's verbal bullying, which includes harmful acts like name calling, teasing, and gossip. And then we see children going through emotional bullying. And these are the kind of blackmailing or personal character attacks or manipulation or isolating someone in the group. This is something which has been common. But then recently with the influx of internet and people getting connected through the net, this is something which is very, very alarming, and that is cyberbullying. This is when some people send mean, vulgar, threatening messages, bad images, and they post sensitive private information about another person, mocking them, pretending to be someone else. This is something very common, very dangerous in order to make that person look bad. Intentionally excluding someone out from an online group. So there are platforms of social media, email, instant messaging, text or digital imaging messages on cell phones, web pages, blogs, and other chat rooms. This is where it becomes really very alarming. Let me tell you one thing. Bullying has often been dismissed as a normal part of growing up. That isn't the case. Bullying and the harm that it causes are seriously underestimated. And we all need to know that this is a big deal. This is something which we just cannot say, oh, we all go through it. It's okay, grow up, develop more confidence. It's okay. Next time you can come around and say something. That's not the way to handle someone who has been bullied. So let me tell you that there are 3 elements in this entire drama. There is a bully, someone who has psychological issues and who knows how to harm the other people in their surroundings through their words, actions, and emotions. Then there is a victim, a person who's being bullied. And then there are the bystanders. Yes, these are the 3 elements of any bullying situation. The victim and the bully, they are the ones who are directly involved, but those who are watching them in their surrounding are equally to be blamed because they are capable of doing something about it, but then they don't. So what are the effects of bullying on the victim? That a child who is being bullied may suffer, grades may suffer because attention is drawn away from learning. The fear may lead to absenteeism, truancy, and dropping out. And if a bullying problem persists in the school, victims sometimes feel compelled to take drastic measures, such as vengeance in the form of fighting back, or bringing a weapon or some harmful tool, or even attempting to suicide. This is again going through when they go through the depression and anxiety as a result of this bullying, children end up doing something very major, very severe. What are the effects on the bystanders then? Well, people who are in the surrounding, who are observing, they may be afraid to associate with the victim for the fear of lowering their own status, or for the fear of retribution from the bully and becoming victims themselves. They may fear reporting bullying incidents because they do not want to be called a snitch. And they may even experience feelings of guilt or helplessness for not standing up to a bully on behalf of their classmate. So these are the mental impacts on those who are the bystanders. What are the effects on the bullies themselves? They believe that studies have found that bullying in childhood may be an early sign of development of violent tendencies, delinquency, and criminality. And then there are studies, there's, like I said earlier, this is a vast topic. There is a lot that can be discussed about it, that boys identified as bullies in middle school were 4 times as likely as their non-bullying classmates to have 3 or more criminal convictions by the age of 24. This is something really very dangerous. And then, like I said, if you go into these, if you go into this topic, there is so much, because when these bullies grow up, what kind of tendencies do they have for their families, for their co-workers, for their own children? We all educators need to be involved in the prevention strategies. How do we do that? We create a positive school climate. We promote empathy and understanding. And we provide social and emotional support for students. So let's stop right here for a moment and reflect. As I said at the beginning of this presentation, that 1 out of 3 children, this is a global health problem. 1 out of 3 children are victimized in their schooling. What do you think are the different attributes or are the different behaviors that you can observe in a child in your surrounding? Majority of the time, children pretend to be okay. They pretend that there is nothing wrong. I'm good. I can stand up for myself, and they don't react. But then again, there are children who either drop out in their grades, either drop out from their friends or their social activities. So what are the things that we educators can do? Like I told you, restorative justice practices is something which I will discuss towards the end of this presentation more in detail. But in general, counseling and taking proper disciplinary actions is something which is extremely necessary. Bullying is harmful for everyone who's involved, just not the person being bullied. And make a difference to someone in our surrounding. Let's make a difference. Let's talk about restorative justice right here. Let me see. Okay. All right. Restorative justice and practical approach of restorative justice is a philosophy and practice that seeks to repair harm caused by a wrongdoing or crime by involving all parties affected by the harm in a process of dialogue, accountability, and restitution. The focus is on repairing the harm caused to individuals and communities rather than simply punishing the offender. I want everyone to take a moment and reflect on this paragraph, and particularly the words that I have put in bold. Restorative justice, because of the name itself, the terminology itself indicates, is a powerful tool for promoting healing and reconciliation between individuals and communities. The practical approach to restorative justice can involve a variety of processes and programs, including victim-offender mediation. Focus on these words. I'm going to talk about it as a case study. The victim and offender come together to discuss the harm that was caused and to find ways to repair it. Now, this can involve the offender apologizing to the victim, making restitution, and engaging in any form of positive action to make amends. Let's go back and stay right here. Okay, everyone. Like I told you that this victim offender mediation, think of an instance in your own school experience. If you have ever seen any child going through a case of bullying, think about it. It could be pre-COVID, post-COVID, especially post-COVID, we have a number of psychological issues. I want you to think about somebody in your surroundings, someone you have handled, where you felt that the child who was being victimized was not given the right treatment, wasn't given the right handling, the counseling, or whatever you call it. What I'm going to do is, we've got some time here. I'm going to talk about a case here. Once I discuss the case, I will go back and I'll help you connect two examples from your own work environment so you can make connections. So when you go back to work tomorrow, you have something that can pop up right away and you will be able to identify it. So let's do this case study. This happened somewhere in the last week of February here in my school. And this was between about 10 to 12 boys of A level. Now, A level program, that means I'm talking about grade 12 and 13. So the grade 12 and 13 boys, you can imagine that this is an age between 16, 17, and 18. What happened was that one of the boys randomly in his own friends group passed a remark about another boy of his class that who was a newcomer, that he looks a bit freaky. These are the exact words that he used, that this boy looks a bit freaky. Well, the way he carries his hair, the way he carries himself, he does look different. And you know, generally a lot of victims are the ones who are different, people from other countries or people who are physically different, too short, too fat, too dark, something like that. Unfortunately, the comment went directly to the person who he was talking about. And now I'm talking about older boys here. They don't tolerate anything. You tell them, they find out something, they react, they don't think. They don't take time to think or come to a resolution or come to a counselor or come to an adult. They react then and there because they don't want to look uncool. And they want to make sure that they do take all that justice in their own control. So this guy who was called something which he didn't like, he asked his group of friends to wait at a rooftop canteen area where there were like 12, 13 of them sitting together. And this was like towards the end of the day. Then comes the victim who apparently called this word to this guy. He was called by a third party to come upstairs. The moment he came upstairs, they picked a fight and all 12 of them started beating him up. So much so that the guy was wearing glasses, his glasses broke off, he was on the ground and everyone was on top of him, kicking him, punching him, slapping him, pulling his hair. And he was so miserable that by the time the situation got reported to the authorities, he was, I'm talking about a 17-year-old tall young man crying and his face is wet and he's all teary and everything. And he's super angry at that time. He's so angry and he's just shouting that I'm going to get back at them and I'm going to kill all of them and I'm not going to study here anymore and I want them out of my life. And, every possible negative reaction that you can expect from someone. I was there luckily at that time in the campus when this got reported to me. So what happened is that the first thing which I did, since I have a lot of experience of almost over 2 decades. So the first thing that I did was that have all those who hurt him, who hit him, all 12 of them come and sit in a room, in a classroom, empty classroom. We asked them what happened, myself and my team members. what happened. So you need to first listen to the story from one side. In their presence, the victim was called with us to sit there and tell us exactly what happened in the presence of all these offenders. So when he was reporting, he had that confidence that the administration is with him, his teachers, his principal, his director are there with him. And the moment he's said everything, and he was being very threatening, obviously because he was hurt, his ego was hurt, because these youngsters have a lot of energy and ego at the same time. So then the victim, now you need to imagine that a 17-year-old who has been hit and kicked and punched and slapped, he has really bad memories of that canteen area. This kid has really bad memories of this corridor wherever he walked through. So what you need to do is you need to undo the whole situation by taking everyone back over there to the same place. We started the situation exactly where it went wrong, and we repaired it. Now, victim offender mediation. This is a terminology I have underlined. I would love all of you to please take it down or note it somewhere where you can look at it often, that you just cannot say, all right, guys, say sorry, let it be over and get over with it. This is not how it happens. Children usually do not forget that unpleasant incident. They would like to gain back that self-esteem which they lost because of the situation. I'm going to quickly recap again, just in case there are some people who are getting lost by what I'm saying, because I know I am delivering a lot of information really too fast. Let me tell you one thing again. I spoke about bullying. I spoke about the three elements: the bully, the victim, the bystanders. Then I talked about the attributes of all three of them, and then how we can prevent and intervene. And now I am culminating this presentation on a case study with the most important aspect of this bullying is restorative justice. Restorative, the word itself means restore, bring back to its original form. Now, how does that happen? So let me go back to my case again, which I said. I've got 16, 17, 18-year-old boys, 12 of them who attack one. That happens in a school tuck shop. I'm really very thankful that they didn't make a video or take pictures or do anything as a record. Thank God that didn't happen, because if that had happened, I would have had to go in further detail by having them delete these out of their gadgets, because we don't want anyone to keep a record of this unpleasant happening. Same way those 12 boys were sitting upstairs on the benches. Same way the victim was called upstairs by the same kid who brought him upstairs earlier. In the same scenario, he came, and the way the fight began, exactly in the same way, everyone said sorry. Everyone said, and they had to mean it, because the session which I had with the bullies before the restorative justice started taking place, I made sure that they realize what they have done. The most important part is the bully needs to understand that he or she can also be a victim at any time in the future. This is not something they can run away. If they have the audacity of hurting someone, especially in a group setting, well, get set. Something like this can happen to you as well in the future. You know how to handle yourself, your emotions, and respect the other person, because this is our core value, is to respect. So now coming back to the situation, that kid comes up, that canteen area, same place where they were all assembled, same place, same bench. He was asked to sit down. Everyone speak out who did wrong, what went wrong. Everyone was asked to again reiterate. I know they were getting a bit annoyed. Why is he going into so much detail? Why is he doing this? But then again, this exercise had to be done. They've got to know that we can't let go. Okay, go ahead, just say sorry. This shouldn't happen again. That's not how we're dealing with it. Kids these days need to know that the adult is responsible, is watching over me and making sure that without hurting my ego. Now see, understand the sensitivity of the case here. The bully when you ask them, okay, say sorry. Now, his or her ego comes down then. Now, see, you don't want to leave these untied strings in the end. You've got to make sure it's neatly tied up and things come to a decent closure. Now, when I say in this case, the boys were made to sit together in the same scenario, where the tuck shop, where the canteen, he was hit, and the you know, you can say the flashback of what happened to him over there, that had to be undone. He had to laugh with them, he had to sit with them, he had to undo the entire situation in order to repair for the way it happened. And once all that got done, they all walked down together. And by that time, that kid's parents had arrived, and the parents saw their own kid coming down with those bullies, and things were far more repaired. Let me go back to that slide again, where I have put this in bold: repair the harm caused. That's what I am constantly saying. Focus is on repairing the harm caused. And it's not meant to embarrass someone. It's not meant to hurt someone. It's meant for the kids, all three classes, even kids who are bystanders. Teachers have a very important role, that they need to let the bystanders also understand that this is very important for you to stand up for someone who is being victimized. If you just sit back and watch, where did we go wrong? This is not how we want our citizens to be brought up. This is not how we want our children to be brought up. They need to take responsibility. They need to pair with the person who is going through a tough time, and then they need to be there for them. And there is no harm. There is no ego. There is no such thing where you can say that let me shy away from a situation just because I don't want to get into the rut. Why not? I'm a living, breathing human being, and this person is equally important. So coming back from this case study, what happened was, oh, by the way, this entire episode took place exactly a day before the carnival. We had an in-house carnival, and all these students were going to put up their stalls. And I cannot begin to tell you how happy I was when I saw the victim at his stall and happily carrying out all the games and everything that he was doing. Even I spent some time at his stall, and I could genuinely see him laughing and being part of the festivities. And it's important for follow-up, observations, follow-up, and make sure the one who says sorry has no ego. There is no such thing as an ego here. Make sure the one who is victimized is not going to be victimized again. So the restorative justice is for everyone to participate in, everyone to be part of it, to inculcate the fact that bullying someone is because somebody is out there sick. This is a huge, vast topic, because if we just take up the attributes of a bully, we can go on and on and on and go into the details of what happens. They don't grow up to be good human beings. They don't grow up to be good dads or good moms. There's a lot of stuff that can be discussed in this area as well. But let's stay focused to when we go to work tomorrow, when we handle these kids tomorrow and in the days ahead. We want to make sure that A, we can identify if something like this is happening. B, focus on repairing the harm by doing the right job for the bully, the right actions and for the victim, the bystanders, and in totality, a very strong, meaningful follow-up. Thank you so much. I hope that this is going to help you. Victim offender mediation, restitution, engaging in all form of positive action to make the amendments. Thank you so much. Let's play our part and make a difference to someone in our lives. Over to you, PPDCI, Hina Kafil.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for touching upon such a burning problem, which we all face in everyday classrooms, in everyday schools, university, and colleges. And yes, this is something which is very important, that victim and the offender, they mediate whatever had been happening. Reflection is going to make the difference, actually. I'm very grateful and honored to have you with us at today's platform. We have around some 3-4 questions. I'm very sure if I can put those to you, you'll be able to answer them.
Please go ahead.
Mr. Mohammed Sabir Nisar has asked in the chat room, is physical punishment at school called bullying?
Physical punishment. Now see, when the three elements of bullying were defined, they are usually people of the same category and same age. Physical punishment at school comes from the school administration or the teacher or the authority. That's a teacher and an adult and a child relationship. That does not categorize as bullying. On the other hand, physical punishment, is it deriving the desired results, which the school policy has set? If you feel that the physical punishment is giving you those desired results, then you can look at it. But this is an individual school policy, and this does not categorize as bullying.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Mr. Sabir, I'm sure you have received your answer. Then Ms. Nimra and Mr. Ali Mashuk have questioned, how can we stop bullying before it happens?
Okay, very valid question. A lot of people who are in education, they need to understand that being an educator, when you call yourself a teacher, a facilitator, an educator, you're not only there to deliver the lesson which has been written in the planner. That's part of your job. A teacher is not only a teacher, it's a mother, a doctor, an engineer, an actor, so much. In fact, a magician altogether.
We are everything.
You've got to keep an eye on the kids. You know that if there is someone who is like retrieving, not being as social, not being as participative, someone whose grades are dropping, someone who's more quiet, someone who's more lost. There are so many indicators that can let an educator, a teacher in the classroom know that something is wrong. Usually children who come from a bad environment at home, even they exhibit these kind of behaviors. But then again, a teacher can intervene and find out what is happening in the background, what is causing this child to be quiet. So your observation of the child, your observation of a kid who is not the normal one, you can look at their laughter and you can tell any kid who is not laughing the way they normally laugh, that immediately spells out that something's wrong. Your indicators should go up immediately. Something's wrong here, I need to intervene. Have a one-to-one with the kid, just ask, what's wrong? You're such a smart kid. You're so strong. How come something like this is happening? I don't see you smile often. I see you a bit lost. Is everything okay? Can I help you? Maybe you can hold hands. A lot of time we don't allow our male teachers to do that, obviously with the female student or anyone, but those are like very fine details. People can use their common sense. But the most important thing is for a teacher to identify if something is wrong here. And teachers can do that. If there's a child who brings in a lunchbox who is not eating or probably giving away his or her food to someone, or who's just lost, the most important indicator which I find, which I can tell from my own experience, is the quality of laughter a child has. That's one thing that can immediately identify that something is wrong here. And then it's like I said, it cannot be a class bullying or a corridor bullying or a ground bullying or something like that. It could be maybe a teacher. It could be an adult in the family. Then there are a lot of other factors that you can track down. Once we found out that there is a maid, rather a male servant in the home who is causing some problems to a kid, which once indicated to the parent that this is something that we have noticed. The parent got to know that this is happening because the male servant at home has handled my child, has mishandled my child rather. So again, a teacher can find out if the kid isn't laughing, not participating, dropped out, mentally lost, looking somewhere else. There are multiple ways in which teachers can, educators can find out that something is wrong here. Do you have any other questions, Anna?
Very, very rightly pointed out. I'm really thinking how deep down it goes and how strongly we have to have our observations. The last and very valid question, Ms. Lareb has asked, what are the signs of bullying? How can we find out that somebody is being bullied?
Okay, I think I've pretty much said this in my previous response. Let's tell you one thing. If you see any kid behaving differently, if you see any kid who is generally not behaving like a regular kid, not laughing, not running out to PE, not participating in class discussions, not laughing or running to the art class or music class, these are all indicators. This is something which an average child would do. You know, you tell them it's time for lunch. They all are so excited to run out to the playground. You see someone walking down slowly. You see some kid who's completely lost. They're looking at the board and they're like, and they're not participating, and you pick on them and they don't have an answer. And generally their laughter level and their voice level drops because they're so intimidated by someone in their surrounding, or they're scared to go out because the bully may be in another section, in another classroom, or the bully may be in a higher grade. So you first need to identify a victim and then you need to work through it. The moment children have confidence, if a teacher is just in a rush, you know, and she says, oh, hurry up, come on, do your work. Why are you sitting so quietly? How come you're not participating? The kid would like to know, ask me, give me some time, give me some attention, ask me, you know. And if you take a few moments aside and you bring the kid aside, not making other people realize that you're talking to this kid, you're just doing it because you are being very supportive. Tell that, let's take an example. Let's take a grade 5 or a grade 4 or a grade 3 boy or a girl, and you see that something is wrong. They're not behaving like a regular kid. The teacher can tell that kid, honey, I'm worried about you. Can we have a little meeting together? I'd like to have a word with you. Do you want to talk to me? And then the moment that child feels that you're giving him or her importance, you're giving them attention, you're giving them the love, the care, and the affection, they would like to open up. If not in our first meeting, maybe in a second one. Okay, it's okay, it's okay. Think about it. You know, you can reassure them. Think about it. If you don't want to share something today, go ahead. It's okay. Take your time. You can come back to me whenever you share. And I'm telling you, if you are reaching out with genuineness, your authenticity is just going to make a difference to a kid. They know. I've had kids who are older and they've got egos and they're like, no, I'm good. But I wasn't in a good mood today. I just didn't wake up on time. And then later on, they'd come and say, do you have some time? Can I tell you something? I did this. And you're like, no worries, it's okay. And I'm so glad you reflected on it before coming to me. That's also very important. There's nothing wrong with it if you take your time and reflect, but the child should have confidence and they should never see you mishandle them and their sensitive information. If you ever discuss that with a friends group at school, or they hear you or another teacher comment, oh, so this is the boy who was going through it. Oh my God, you're going to shatter their confidence forever. Because that, the bond that you develop with the kid, the confidentiality that you need to maintain, that's very important. So ladies and gentlemen, this is my very humble request. Please keep an eye on these kids. You've got to help these kids who are being victimized. Whether they're in school, take action. If it is at home or somewhere else, hold on to them and their feelings. Tell them that I am there for you. And then take the right action when it is needed. Parents usually do not like to hear these things. No, the child is probably making up. I've also had a case once when something was very close to the parents' own relationship, which was impacting the child. And there was a lot of denial from the parents. And I intentionally accepted that denial because I didn't want to embarrass the parent. I said, now that you know what the problem is, I'm sure you're smart enough to handle it. So you need to make sure people's self-esteem, their respect is also maintained. You don't want to embarrass someone. That's when you just spoil the whole situation then. You didn't help. In fact, you ruined it more. So that matter of the care, the element of being non-judgmental and keeping confidential and the information confidential is something which is very important.
Indeed. And teachers, we need to grow compassionate. We need to have empathy for our students. Only then we can make the difference. Thank you
Teachers
so very much.
Teachers can scan their classes and tell, immediately they can tell if there is something wrong with any kid. You just need to have that watchful eye over them. And then you need to express that that care, the concern to that kid as well.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Please be in acceptance of my warmest of gratitude for being so nifty, so on the dot, and such a
Pleasure is
productive
mine.
session for all of us. We have right now participants from Romania, Thailand, from Finland, from Canada, Turkey, Mexico, India, Bangladesh, Ghana, Saudi Arabia. These are few countries I could just read out, and everyone is sending a lot of thanks and appreciation for the session you just conducted. Mera tala bless
Thank you so much. The pleasure is all mine. And I'm so glad I got a chance to connect with all these educators. Good luck with all your future presentations the boot camp has to offer. The menu looks very, very inviting. And I know you guys are going to benefit a lot from all this information and coming to you from all over the world. This is absolutely fantastic. I'm so glad that I got a chance to connect with all of you, those who missed the initial segment of the session. I'm so very glad. Please keep an eye on all these kids who need your love, your care, your attention. And you have no idea what kind of a difference you can make to someone's life just because you cared at the right time, you intervened.
Exactly. Thank you very much, ma'am. Allow me to move further. And the next speaker.
Please go ahead. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am.